For the first time in Drag Race history, all of you will be lip syncing for your lives. I'm sorry, what? Shame. Hey guys, it's your girl Ayesha, and I am dishing up your Drag Race lowdown, and Lord have mercy, I was not expecting that. All 6 having to lip sync for their lives. Listen, this is what I'm saying. You cannot be coming into this competition, half-hearted, lackluster. You can't be saying on the runway, oh, if I just had one more chance, then I could have really shown you the true me. You gotta give it all you got from the get-go all the way through, because listen, if Mama Ru is vexed, then she would just make all of you lip sync for your life with no prior warning, and she would just send your ass home. Haven't you already got it by now? Anyway, before we get all up into that gig, let me just say a quick hello to those of you who are brand new to my channel. Hello and welcome. This is the part of my channel where I like to talk about all things that are Drag Race related. So if you too are a fan of RuPaul's Drag Race and maybe you missed the episode, you want to have a little quick catch up, or maybe you actually did watch it and you just want to see what my thoughts are on the episode, if you're feeling a little bit nosy, feel free to stick around. I do actually put all of these videos into a Drag Race lowdown playlist, so you can go back and check them out at your leisure. Okay, so let's kick things off with the mini challenge. So they had to try and talk their way into the backstage area of a seduction concert. Now, I don't really know much about seduction. It was the group that Michelle Visage was part of back in the day, probably well before my time. No tea, no shade. But yeah, so they had to just sort of dress up in, as funny a way that they could and try and talk their way in. So Ru was there minding the doors, and they had to come up with all these different scenarios, and the people who stood out for me were Nina West, who dressed up as this little kid with like the buckiest of buck teeth. I'm talking like all out here, massive thick eyebrows, big hefty rucksack on, and she was like, when we was like, so what you doing here? And she was like, I've got a maternity test, she's my mom. I was just like, oh my god, and no one else came up with anything like that original, and we was like, well, I'm gonna have to just like call out Child Protection Agency on you, and she was just there, just like bawling her eyes out. I thought she was so funny. The rest of them were kind of just like, giving attitude, or were like twerking for the camera. Evie, Evie was like pregnant, and she was like, I'm here so that she could sign my baby. But the other person who really stood out for me was Silky. She was flipping hilarious. So first of all, she's all like flinging her breast up in the camera, which is, typical Silky. But she then said how she's gonna just like football tackle this door. Ru was like, well, I'd like to see you try. And she actually did. Like, she almost shut the whole thing down. I was like, oh my god. And Ru was just like, yeah, you hear them sirens for you? And she was like, no, the only thing I hear is come in, Silky. And she just came barging through. I was like, do you know what? At least she got in, because no one else did, but at least she managed to get her way in, even if she shoved her way in there, but she still got through. So the winners of the challenge were actually Nina West and Raja O'Hara, who I didn't think was that funny, but each to their own. And because they were the winners, they were the leaders of the next challenge, which was to to have your own church for a particular diva. Okay, so now listen, I'm not religious, okay, in any way, shape or form, but I do love me some gospel, because I just find it uplifting somehow. So I was totally living for this challenge, and I thought it was bloody hilarious. So Nina West's team, they were the IBBN, or It's Britney Bitch Network. Then you had Mariah's team, who were called When You Believe, which is like the Church of Mariahism. Now, it became quite apparent that Raja's team didn't know anything about Mariah Carey, like hardly anything at all. Even when they all like put their heads together, they were coming up with nothing. And Rue came over to come and talk to them. And when he realized that they just didn't know anything, he was just like, this is not going to go well. He was practically like feeding them lines, which they just like took, and they used everything that he said in their piece. They also weren't very funny either. If anything, they were just super awkward. So we had Scarlet Envy and Sugarcane, who were meant to be the main hosts, and they were kind of like almost talking over each other, but like also there was just like lots of gaps in between their talking. It was like nothing had been properly sort of thought out. And when, for example, when Sugarcane ended a link, it should have just ended there, because Russell's like, okay, now we're at commercial, and then Scarlett then just juts in with like some more stuff what she's saying. I'm just like, girl, that's not how TV works. And then you had Plastique Tiara, who was supposed to be the one giving like the live conversions. So she's trying to convert Akira from being a Ariana Grande fan to being a Mariah fan. And Plastique came up with this kind of like demonized voice. So anytime that she said Ariana Grande, she was like, Ariana Grande. And it's like, oh my God, you're actually the devil. Also, I felt that their team were like low-key shading Mariah for like, you know, false whistle tones and technical difficulties and all the rest of this. And they were trying to like sell these little butterfly clips for like $50. I'm like, I don't want to be part of your church. And let's not even get started on Raja and Honey. Lord, have mercy on their souls, for they know not the wrong that they have done. They were supposed to be like the singers of the group, okay? When they were divvying up who was going to be the presenters, who was going to be the conversions, who was going to be the singers, they were like, yeah, we can do it, you know, because I actually sing. That's my gig. Do you even know what a harmony is? Like, come on. Seriously. Like, I'm not even exaggerating when I say that it was literally like strangled cats, you know, wailing babies, and pigs that just got stepped on. That's the kind of sounds that I was hearing. It was awful. It was really, really bad. What was worse as well was like, it wasn't even as if they were just sort of like making it up as they went along, because like I could have understood that, but they were all like singing over each other, singing the wrong words, not following the melody at all, not following the correct tempo, but they had cue cards in front of them so that they could be reading the lyrics, and they were still getting it wrong. And I'm just like, to be fair to Honey, I do think that she sounded better, but like, boy, Raja, I think Raja thinks that she's all that and she really isn't. So, she's gonna need to sort out that attitude. But on the other hand, you have the IBBN. Now, I would definitely join this church, because they were not only absolutely hilarious, but their whole thing just went seamlessly. It was brilliant. I was totally living. Nina West, she carried that show like perfectly. It was her and Brooklyn Heights who were the hosts, but Nina was like the main host, and you know, she was giving it all that and praise Lord and all the rest of this blah blah blah. And that's a terrible accent. I'm so sorry. I apologize to anybody who's from America who just heard that. That was horrific. But you know, she was giving it like true country vibes, and like she was very believable. Like, I wanted to sit there and just watch more of her because she was very entertaining. Then we had Vanjie, who just took us to church. She was like, I'm here to convert these people who have never even heard of Britney Spears. They don't know about Lucky. They don't know about Sometimes. They don't know about Oops, I Did It Again. They don't know about Hit Me Baby. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, she's going in. She was like, bring the chicken heads out, please. I'm so glad that we're getting to see so much more of Vanjie, because man, she's hilarious. When she was doing her conversions on Evie Oddly and Mercedes, gosh, she just went to town. So for Evie, she shaved off her head. You know how Evie's got like a bald head, right? So she shaved off her wig to reveal her bald head, and then she cut back to her, and she's got this big long flowing blonde wig on, and she's giving it all this, all the rest of it. And so, you know, Vanjie's there just like whipping her hair like no tomorrow. I'm not gonna do it because it really hurts my neck and shoulder. I'm like, I've got issues already, so let's just leave it there. But I thought that bit was really, really funny. But then it came to Mercedes. Now, my issue with Mercedes is that she kind of just blends into the background, and when she's given just one job, she's just not getting it right. There was quite a funny joke in there that like they wanted her to pretend that she'd never even heard of Britney Spears. And one of her lines was, where I'm from, we just have spears. Now that to me is hilarious because she's always going on about being from the jungle, right? So she's like, where I'm from, we just have spears. That was Ariel's joke, right? And Mercedes couldn't even deliver it because she was just like, what is this? What is a Britney? Where I'm from, we just have spirits. And I'm like, even my Tupperware just fell down just now because even my Tupperware couldn't believe that she couldn't even get that joke right. Mercedes, you had one job. I still couldn't do it. Then it cuts to Ariel and Silky Ganache, who were the singers of the group. And, you know, like the song, it wasn't great, but it was much better than what Raja and Honey were putting out. So I was definitely here for it. Needless to say, it was pretty obvious who the winners were of this challenge. Ross Matthews was like cracking his head up at IBBN. When it came to When You Believe, there was nothing but just dismay and confusion on his face the entire time. And I shared that sentiment. I looked exactly the same. Like, it was just an absolute hot mess. A little something that I noticed in the workroom. Hello, Vanjie and Brooklyn, just sharing a little kiss like that and being all huggy and all the rest of it. What is going on between those two? Listen. Like, is there some kind of like hit chop business going on between them? Like, I don't even know, but I'm gonna be keeping my eye on those two. Also in the workroom, I love the way how Evie Oddly felt it was necessary to paint her entire body pink. And when I say entire, I'm talking entire. So like the nether regions, the butt crack, everything was just out. And people were just like, oh my God, like, have some discretion. But she was like, no. She was like, it's about to get real explicit up in here. And we were like, okay, we were not prepared for that. Now we're onto the runway. I feel like we're getting to the runway quite quickly. This is a good thing. Okay, let me just keep it rolling because I know how my videos are long.com. I know that some of you guys must be so sick and tired of me just chatting all the time. But hey, I usually have a lot to talk about. So, runway, RuPaul, green dress. It was nice, it was alright, but it was nothing special. Next. Is that bad? Is that bad? Okay. No, I'm sorry. It was just nice. Like, it wasn't anything major. Like, I didn't gasp over it. I didn't die over it. It was just alright. So the category is fringe, darling. So Honey Davenport comes out in this like PVC black number with like a massive hat on, fringe coming down, you know, from head to toe. Michelle Visage said that it looked like her VHS broke or something like that. It did look a little bit like VHS tape. VHS are video tapes, for those of you who are like under 18 and don't know what a video is. Showing my age, showing my age. If you don't know, just go and ask your dad. Anyway, so what I did like about this was that it was quite a meaningful piece to her. She said it was to sort of commemorate all of the people that she's lost due to gun violence. So, you know, I thought that that was quite an interesting way of conveying that. Did I love it? Not massively. I thought it was a bit much, personally. But, you know, it was all right. Up next, we've got Scarlet Envy, who actually reminded me a lot of Pheromone in this piece. Her hair looks beautiful. Really, really nicely sculpted. I love a well-sculpted wig. Ah, beautiful. But yeah, I really thought that she looked stunning, actually, in the all whites. I did like her attention to detail because she even had fringes coming off of her fingernails as well. So yeah, I thought that that looked really, really pretty. The one thing I would say is I would have loved to have seen her tights been crystallized. That would have been perfect. Loving that Sugarcane is representing her native heritage in this piece. I thought that she looked absolutely stunning. I loved that she came with this lovely sort of like Native American printed cloak around her. And then when she just revealed it, she just looked absolutely stunning. Those colors together blended perfectly, and I really, really loved the fringe detail on this piece. There was lots of turquoise in there as well. I'm not sure if they were actually real turquoise beads, but they did look it. But yeah, I think that it just added a lot to it, and it meant that her, even though she was wearing a bodysuit, but like it was so like heavily beaded and crystallized and feathered and all the rest of it, that like it didn't just look like a leotard. Like it just looked really, really good. She looked great. Plastique Tiara was actually giving me Ariana Grande vibes with that long ass ponytail that she had going on. I really like this silver outfit actually. It's very showgirl. Again, it's very pheromone. It's very Vegas. It's something that I've seen a gazillion times before, but she did look very pretty. Can we just please have a round of applause for Akira Davenport? I mean, come on. Like, she just looked like this stunning candelabra Cleopatra goddess in the black and the gold and all the fringe. Just the way that she carried herself down the runway as well. She looked like royalty, and she knew it. Like, she looked beyond stunning. Because the fringing on the dress came down in like V's, it really showed off her curves as well. I thought that was a really good attention to detail, and I just love the sort of like inserts of black in between. Like, she just looked beautiful. And then after that comes Raja O'Hara, literally wearing like a bodysuit that I'm pretty sure that I saw on eBay with like just some Eddie fringe attached to it, and those red boots again. Okay. And then in swings Nina West. Now, as soon as she came in, I was like, oh, I like that. I don't like that. I had mixed emotions, man. I'm sorry. I don't like the fact that her head literally looked like a mop. I think that if it was a different shape, then she could have carried this off better. I think that it was a good amount of fringe. It was a hell of a lot of fringe. But yeah, I just wasn't sold on it. It was just too moppy for me. Like, I couldn't stop looking at the mop head, and that kind of spoilt it for me. Brooklyn looked absolutely gorgeous, giving daisy chain realness. She looked stunning. I really, really did enjoy this outfit. I loved that, like, the daisy chains just look so delicate, as daisy chains actually are. She looked a lot like Cher in this outfit as well. She's just always serving beautiful looks. She is just a stunner. I also really like the little details of the daisies on her arms as well. I think that was a really nice added touch. Miss Vanjie, again, it's a red leotard with a little bit of fringe on, a little bit of sparkle, and in comparison to what other people are bringing to the runway, this just wasn't anything special to me at all. I like the long black hair on her. I think it really suits her, but when you compare this to what she brought out last week, like, this for me, it was just a little bit lacking, and I think she can do a lot better than that. Evie Oddly, though, like, when I see this, I'm like, okay, so that's why you were painting your bits pink. I was living for this. I was actually on the floor laughing, to be honest, but I really, really did enjoy it. She came out as a massive jellyfish. She actually reminded me of the Yip Yip Martians from Sesame Street. Those of you who grew up on Sesame Street like I did, y'all know what I'm talking about. Yep. You know what I mean. But that's what she looked like to me. But I thought there was so much attention to detail here. The makeup, the hell of a lot of fringe. You know, like, she looked fabulous. I really look forward to seeing Evie's looks, actually, because they're always so different and so interesting and so out of the box. Like, she's a force to be reckoned with. Like, I think that she's great. Mercedes' outfit was okay. I wasn't gagging for it. Her hat did look like a lampshade. In fact, it may well have been a lampshade. And maybe she just like based her outfit around this said lampshade, because that's exactly what it looked like. I quite liked, actually, the neon yellow / green with the red hair. I think that it made the red hair really sort of stand out. I think she looked very pretty. But this outfit wasn't really my favorite, but it was okay. And can someone please tell me why everybody, the world and its wife, has these boots? I don't get it. Sequin boots with a peep toe. I don't understand. Why has everyone got them? Personally, I think that the boots just look unfinished. I don't like it. Ariel Versace, though. Honestly, like, Ariel is like my aesthetic, hands down. Do you know, I have, in fact, I wore it the other day. I have a little like shrug that's basically the same material as Ariel's outfit. This to me was just absolutely stunning, and I need it in my life, like, immediately. All iridescent sequins, you know, it fitted her beautifully. Her hair was massive. She just looks stunning, like, absolutely stunning. When she wore the way that the light caught that, I was just like, I need my life immediately. I adored her boots as well, and at least they weren't a peep toe. Silky was giving me some Oprah Winfrey vibes, okay? When she came out, she was literally like, you get a fringe, you get a fringe, you get a fringe, everybody get a fringe. And she was prancing down that runway like no tomorrow. She was living her ultimate best life, and I was here for it. I actually quite enjoyed her outfit. She said that she made the entire thing herself. Go her. I think that she really sold it, especially because she was practically running and dancing down the runway. It gave it a lot of really nice movement. She looked very pretty. Yeah, I loved it. Beautiful color. So basically now we come to the end. So in the top, of course, we have Nina West's team. It was quite obvious that, you know, they were going to be the winners. And Nina West, quite rightly so, won the challenge. She was fantastic, and I'm really, really pleased for her. So in the bottom was Raja's team, and Rue was just so disappointed with all of them, especially when he asked. He was like, who do you think is at fault for basically dragging your team down? And they all said, well, we all dropped the ball. So he was like, fine, you're all gonna lip sync. I was like, I'm sorry, what? All 6 of them? Oh, Lord, have mercy. Let me get my popcorn, yeah? I was just thinking, how on earth are they going to do this without looking an absolute hot mess? It was really, really hard to see who should win the lip sync because everybody was literally all over the place, to the point where Honey Davenport, she just jumped off the stage. Or did she fall off the stage? I'm not entirely sure because it didn't look like she landed that well, but she kind of just like stayed on the floor for a long time. And Rue's there, you know, when Rue's trying to like judge everyone and he's looking down at her like, what are you doing? Like, get the hell up off the floor. So yeah, so they're all there, like lip syncing their hearts out. You know, wigs flying up. Why did Scarlet Envy take off her wig? She looked so beautiful, and yeah, she's got lovely long luscious hair, but it didn't really go with that outfit. She should have kept her bloody wig on. Ugh, even Akira, she took off her headdress. I'm like, girl, your hair is not done underneath that. Like, put on a little pussycat wig or something. Don't just take off the headdress and have nothing else there. What's going on? But I think in an act of desperation, like, you do what you can. Do you know what I mean? Like, you do what you have to do. And yeah, like, BB. I keep wanting to call Honey BB because she reminded me of bloody BB Zahara Bonet with that black thing on her head. But yeah, she she had to go. She had to go. And it was a shame because I did like her, but you know, she was kind of fading into the background for me a little bit, a bit like Mercedes actually. So yeah, it kind of was her time. But it was just funny to see everyone just like crawling all over each other to be noticed. I'm just like, this is a hot mess. Like, you guys need to step up your game because I don't want to see this again. I don't want to be seeing 12 people lip syncing at the same time. Just no. So there you have it, my darlings. That is the end of your Drag Race Lowdown. I hope that you have enjoyed it. Hopefully, if you actually watched the episode, you understood everything I was talking about just now. If you don't watch Drag Race and you literally just watch this just because you like to watch me, I hope that you found this at least mildly entertaining. If you did enjoy this video, then please do give me a big fat thumbs up. And of course, if you haven't already, then don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss the next one. Take care, my lovelies. I will see you all soon. Mwah. Bye.